our minds can tell us what's true sometimes. And we can actually tell it something different, which is beautiful and powerful and easy to forget when we're just in it.
Totally. You have that voice in your head, and sometimes you really shouldn't listen to it because it's not saying the best stuff, and you can change that voice. I completely
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah, this is all a world that's really pretty new to me, but it makes so much sense that we have that power
Yeah,
to change the story because there's sort of many truths in some ways as far as what we make up for why something happened, what will happen, what ifs.
totally.
And the ones that are helpful are the ones we should sit on, right? The ones that
Totally.
help us get where we're going, we want to go, are the
And not
ones we should
the ones
grab.
that just cause drama, right? Because we
Yeah,
make up all these reasons and for things that happen that aren't necessarily true.
absolutely. And I know that as a business coach, that comes up a lot, and I can just imagine that there's stories in your work as a home professional organizer also. So we'll get into that a little bit. I wanted to just ask you what led you to start your business, and
Sure.
we'll get
Yeah.
into what it's like to be you.
Yeah. So I never really even knew about the world of home organizing as you know, young adult in my 20s and 30s. And I've always been a very kind of organized person and found a lot of calm in order.
Yeah.
Some control thing, right? When things feel chaotic or out of control, organizing and making things, neat and tidy and just the way my brain works, it just provides a lot of calm for me. So that's always been kind of part of my makeup. And I went through a pretty horrible divorce about 6 years ago. And
Mm,
when my ex moved out, um, there was a lot of emotional baggage, right, that was going on in my head. And there was also a lot of physical stuff in the home that was no longer mine that I needed out. And so I went through a process of decluttering and getting rid of not only my ex's stuff, but also a lot of stuff of mine that I realized was not really, serving me and was creating a lot of just extra weight in my life. And the process was really freeing, both physically and mentally, and really made me create a space that I felt relaxed and calm and happy to be in. And fast forward a little while, I ended up meeting another mom at my son's preschool at the time. And I was speaking with her, and she was a home organizer. And I said, "Oh my gosh, that's a thing. Like, that's amazing. I do that for
yeah.
myself." And I took her out to lunch one day and I picked her brain. And her name's Shira Gill. She's actually in the Bay Area as well. She's made,
I like Shira. She was a customer for many years
yeah,
too. Yes,
great. I mean, she's so inspiring. And
totally.
I said, if you ever need any help, let me know.
Yeah.
And she did at some point, and I ended up working with her for over a year, almost 2 years, and kind of learned, her business. And she really encouraged me to go out on my own,
Yeah.
and start my own business. And so that's kind of how I came to be.
I love all this. So many things I have experienced myself in terms of the sort of grieving and cleansing of new lives, divorce included for me.
Yeah,
And for me, I just posted actually a reel about taking things to the shredder.
I
Um,
just saw that. I
did
love
you see
that.
that? And I
We logged
just
on.
I mean, I could talk on and on about it because it was so meaningful. But what I want to say here is that working with you helped that happen.
Oh,
Helped me see because you helped me in my home, this new
yeah.
home that I'm showing love to right now these days, and making it sanctuary for me means also like physical and emotional clearing.
Right. They
So
go
it's
hand in hand, right? Like when you physically get rid of stuff, like you emotionally are letting go as well. At least that's what I find in my life and also
totally.
clients, right? I mean, yeah, literally the process of shredding things, like,
It was so symbolic of like, this no longer serves me. It's a little like the beliefs we just talked about, right?
yeah,
There's no reason to go back to this someday.
right.
I have nothing here. There's nothing here for me anymore that I don't already have inside
Right.
me.
I know. And actually that whole process of letting go, when clients let go of things, sometimes, obviously there's emotional baggage around certain things that are heavier than others, but I've yet to have anyone miss something they've let go of, right? They've let go of it and it's like out of sight, out of mind. And that means you have more space in your head for other things.
You know what that tells me? I mean, that's kind of incredible
Right.
because we're so, I mean, isn't that such a human reaction? It's like as soon as you let go, I mean, it's easy to make the story, right? That
Right.
like I needed it. What did I do? But that's telling me how good you are at your job because
No, you're so
you're
kind.
really holding it with them, right? I mean, you're not like pushing them into something they're not ready to. You're
Right.
really holding it with them. So I love
Yeah.
that.
Everyone has their own timeline, and sometimes there's certain things people aren't ready to let go of, and that's fine. And just even planting the seed in their head, why, they're holding on to it,
Hmm.
down the line, they may end up letting it go.
Yeah. Yeah. And it helps me. It was probably 4 months ago or something. I mean, I needed time to, I mean, partly on the outside, I'm saying, yeah, I really got to get it over. It seems logistic
Yeah.
just to get over there with this bag. Um, and also, I'm sure it's also like, I just really need to be done.
Yeah,
And, you saw in my reel, by the time I was ready, I was like, wait, I have another life to put in here. I
totally.
mean, it was, and that also was over I let less time lag, but it still was enough time to say, no, I'm really ready.
Yeah, I mean, I always find when I'm working with clients, I remind them like I don't have an attachment to whether you hold on to this, right? I'm just
Yes.
you figure out why you're holding on to it and if it's going to fit in with your life and your goals. And if you need to keep it for now, then you keep it for now. But I think just planting that seed can be really helpful.
I'm just hearing how much what we do is similar, right?
Yeah.
Because this is what I do in business coaching, work coaching is it's not about me, but you came to me for some help. So
Right.
I can just reflect that I see what's possible for you and you get to choose.
Yeah. And then also reminding them, if you want to achieve this goal, here's how I see that you get there. But again, that's up to you at the end of the day. Like I'm not attached to how it ends up, but in order to achieve your goal, here's how the steps that I see that you need to take.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. It's really inspiring what you do.
I the same to you.
Thank you. So what is your greatest joy in your business?
God, there's so many things that I really love about my business. I mean, the number one thing that I really enjoy is obviously making the lives of my clients, easier and helping them achieve their goals. And, most of them are really, as all of us are, I work with a lot of busy moms in particular, which I can relate to. And,
Hmm.
being a mom, you've got your job, then you have your second job by taking care of your kids. And if you're in a relationship, where carer is taking care of your partner, etc. And, being able to help them take stuff off their plate and make things more efficient, run more efficiently in their homes, whether it's their kitchen or their kids' rooms or their closets or their office. So I really love being able to help them figure out how to do that, as well as kind of helping them change habits around why they got to that place to begin with. It's just really rewarding, especially how grateful they are at the end of the process. So that's probably the biggest thing. From a logistical standpoint, just the way my mind works, organizing is like a puzzle. So that's so fun for me, right? I just,
Yeah.
figuring out how to put it all together in a way that not only is functional, but also I love to style it and make it look pretty because that makes me happy.
I
So
love that. So
yeah,
you're including joys not just outside, but inside,
yeah,
right?
it's
Yeah, for yourself.
yeah. So
Yes.
yeah, it's very satisfying.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah. And I kind of think of it, I approach every job like, well, with their goals in mind, how would I do this if it was in my home, right? So what makes sense and what would look pretty, I love to style, all of that.
And it sounds like it always came easy for you. You said you always loved it since you were young, right?
Yeah, I was very type A.
Yeah,
Like,
interesting.
Really, I think it probably, as I said before, when things feel out of control, that's a way to kind of control things. And I came from parents of divorce, and so there was a lot of moving around, and I think that also kind of helped me, needing to know where things were. So when I went from one place to another, things
Yeah.
for me, it's just always really made me feel much more calmer in my life, right? Because
Yes.
there's so much in the world that we can control. In fact, there's very little, right?
Right.
Helps with
Right.
my internal process.
Yeah. Thank you. It just reminding me how much who you are makes your work something like easy. And I
Yeah,
don't mean work is easy all the time, but that there's
right.
ease, right? It flows for
Yeah.
you.
I mean, for me, it's very intuitive, right? And so that's my strength in terms of organizing. And, other, your strength, you have different things that are intuitive to you. So I love the idea of reaching out to different professionals to help you with where your strengths are not, right? Because there's so many people who can help us in this world with so many different things. And
Yeah.
that's
We
also
don't have to struggle, right?
yeah,
We don't have
great.
to
Like, well,
bootstrap.
I have to figure that part out because that's not where my strengths lie. I get to have someone else help me with that.
Yeah, it's been a huge year of growth for me in that too. In fact, I mean, I could say I'm a business coach because I now know that I wish, whatever, 12, 15 years ago when I was just starting out, that I didn't just assume that I had to figure it all out myself
Yeah.
and that there are people really just ready. And what seems like a lot of money actually would have saved me years of time.
Yeah.
And what dollars would I put on that? And for you too, I can
Yeah.
reflect like so many, whatever figures in dollars, it it's a story that sounds like too much when really the ease that you provide for people, right? The story you just told about busy moms and chaos, clutter, like the ease on the other side is in some ways priceless. I mean,
Right.
really, it's way beyond.
I think so too. And then also the idea is, you're asking people to invest in you, right? If someone's hiring a home organizer, I'm saying, hey, you invest in me, right? And then on the same, the same level, like I need to trust to invest in other people to help me with the area
Yes,
I need help in. So it's really kind of cyclical, like, right? You give and you get back.
it's true. And we give, we get back, and then we are more powerful to do the thing that really is our zone of genius,
Yeah.
uh, the thing that's easy.
As you
Mhm.
feel the same, I know it's really nice to also to be like, ooh, I get to help another independent business owner grow, right? So
Yeah, because I'm not struggling with this other thing, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
totally.
love it. So I had asked you to bring a challenge for today. We discussed it a little bit yesterday. I wonder how's it sitting today? What do you want to bring
A challenge, you mean more in terms of like growing, I guess, bit
in
more
your business? Yeah, business
like
challenge that you're
how do I
facing that.
business, what are areas where, for me, it's always like, how do I get more clients, right? To keep busy and to keep giving. And it's a very referral based business. People really need to use you and then, refer you because as again, it's an investment. So people want to know something about you. They want to know how your work is. They want to know what results they got. They want to hear what the experience is like for, before they hire you. And so figuring out the best way to get those referrals is always something that I'm trying to think more about. And I think we talked a little yesterday about, I found, for instance, with moms that one way that is a really nice way for me to increase referrals is for them to leave reviews in different groups that they might be on, parent groups or Facebook groups or things like that, where they can really speak to my services, as opposed to just your regular like Yelp and Google type of reviews as well. Also, a challenge for me is remembering whenever I'm out in the world to let people know what I do, right? And to talk about it. Just getting comfortable with talking about yourself, right? A lot of us aren't as comfortable with that. And you don't want to sound like you're advertising, but really we all have something to offer. And just by having conversations with people and just getting comfortable in that. I remember when I first started doing that, I actually would get some clients from it. People were like, oh, wow, you do that? Do you have a business card? That's so interesting. I know someone who might benefit from that. So getting comfortable with talking about what you do or what I do is a challenge that I'm always working on
Yeah.
as well.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah.
One of the people, one of the professionals I'm paying to help me get better at my job, one of the things Susie Ashworth says is, if you want to make money, you got to make more offers. And it sounds so simple,
Right.
but it's really getting over the barriers, the our own stories about like, is it okay to bring it up? Like, does it sound like I'm bragging? Like all the
Yeah.
stories that really, it's none of that. It's you offering something that's really good for
Yeah.
someone who needs you, wants you.
Yeah, just a couple weeks ago, I was at my son's flag football game, and I was sitting there speaking with a mom who, on the other team actually, who I'd never met before, and turns out she's divorced as well. So we kind of bonded over that. And I was sitting there, and I'm like, I should tell her what I do. She lives in Piedmont. There's like, lots of potential clients there, and so I asked her about her and what she was doing, and then she asked me, and I told her, and I was like, I have a newsletter if you're interested in learning some of my tips and tricks. And she was like, oh, I'd love that. And I was like, great, I'm going to sign you up. And she's like, oh, send me your website, send me all of that. There's so many people I know who could maybe benefit. And like, I had that moment of being like, should I tell her? Like, I don't want to be bragging. Like, I don't want to be selling, but it ended up being such a, great thing to do. And we've made a connection. And she's like, it's so nice to know another single mom. And so we've kind of been communicating on that level too since then.
That's beautiful. And
Yeah.
this is again like you can serve in many ways,
Right.
right? And you're both just people and you both bring different skills and it can be very mutual too. It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Um,
So you were saying about how to build referrals from the moms group is one way you talked about it. So my first thought is um, I think it's helpful to get in your head what is the one best place, like location, that you want to build those client testimonials. And that connects with who is your ideal client. The um, the one sort of type of client that you could almost like just serve all day and it just super fits you. There's
yeah,
no friction.
that goes a lot back with what I originally said, and it's really the busy working families and parents. I've had what I've realized when I work with those clients is that they hire me to do one space, right? And then they hire me again to do another space, and they'll buy packages, and my calendar all of a sudden gets filled up with like really
Oh, I love it.
will do like their full home, right?
Yeah.
And again, it works nicely because they hire me, they are happy with the results, and so then they feel good about moving on, and so do I. And we end up getting to kind of do their whole home, which is just really rewarding at the end of the day for both of us. So that's a really ideal client because it means I'm not having to get 30 clients in a month because that's hard and challenging, right?
Right.
If I
Right.
client who buys 3 sessions and then they hire me again, like they're filling up my calendar pretty quickly. And these days I can have 3 or 4 clients a month fill up my entire calendar. And so that's really
Yes.
doable.
Exciting. And
Yes,
that's like enough business for you,
it is currently.
right?
You know,
Yeah.
another client that we kind of talked about, to kind of two other types of nice clients to work with, because again, it creates more business from the same client. I really like working with clients multiple times because we develop a relationship that way, as opposed to one.
Hmm.
And clients who are remodeling or moving. I think those are really great clients because I work with them on the front end and I help them kind of declutter and take a look at what they have. And then they're either moving into a new place or they're making their place new. And so all that old weight doesn't come with them, right? So that's so nice for them when they're thinking about their new space. They just get to bring the things into it that they really love and enjoy. And then on the other side, I get to help them organize and set it up too. So it can be like this full process.
Hmm. And that also sounds like it would overlap with the busy families
Hmm. A lot
in
of,
moving and remodeling, right?
yeah,
So it's great. I love when your ideals stack up, right? The
yeah,
ideal clients stack up as opposed to chasing two different
yep,
sort of boats of people that are different people, different thinking, different needs, different.
yeah,
This is all overlapping, so that's
yeah,
beautiful. I
yeah,
also love that what you're telling me means that you can have like you don't need 100 clients, right? So like your goal can be like if I do this activity, I will get my goal of 5 new clients, or
yeah,
your audience growing, even you can grow this much and know that this percentage, like it's typical, you grow your audience this much and not everyone signs on, right? So then you can just only have to capture this much.
Yeah.
Anyway, it just keeps it very tight for
And
you.
some organizers may love having, tons and tons of different clients. It's nice too for me because I really do build relationships with them. And, since I work locally, most of them are local and some of them have even turned into friendships, right? Or
Yeah.
I hear from them down the line. I had one client who I've worked with many times, and she's like, she just sent me an email. She goes, "You'd be so proud of me." She goes, "I went on a trip to Hawaii with my husband." She's like, "And I didn't bring back anything except memories." She's like, "I didn't take extra toiletries. I didn't bring back tchotchkes." Like, and it feels great. All I brought back were like my pictures and memories. And so it's so nice
Yeah.
to like have that relationship where they then want to tell you things.
Yes. Because they know you care,
Right.
right? They know you'll be cheerleading for them, and
Yeah.
that's beautiful. You've
Yeah.
sowed that seed
Yeah.
to build the relationship. I love that. So yeah, it sounds like that mom, that busy mom is the key.
Yeah.
And then it's like, do you know the sort of one place that would be the best referral place where they're talking and they're going to hire you from
That
there?
that's the challenge, is kind of figuring that out, right? I mean,
Yeah.
as I said, I go to my kids' school a lot, and because that's a lot of, or sports teams, like anywhere that there are those busy families is somewhere that
Hmm.
I need to try to let people know about what
Yeah.
I. And with my newsletter, I've also started to outreach to lots of people that I wasn't necessarily reaching before and reminding them that I'm here for them, and this is
Right.
what I do as well. So,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
having,
Yeah.
hey, please pass this on to whoever thinks you might be interested in, right?
Yeah.
Really self-advocating for
And
yourself.
it's a beautiful newsletter, which you invested like the aesthetics, the good writing, the good rhythm of it. So highly endorse
I appreciate.
getting on that list.
Yeah.
Um, so then I think if you mentioned this one place where parents are talking. I mean, I was thinking, is it Berkeley Parents Network? Because
Berkeley
my
Parent Work is great. I mean, parents also talk. There's lots of different family groups. Like I have a mom who is a mom of twins, and I didn't even know there was a twin group right in her neighborhood. And so she's gotten on there and referred.
twin groups are super tight. It's
Yeah,
super tight.
whole
Yeah, it's great.
thing going on.
Yeah.
So, just and they're just parents, or there's busy working mom groups where they discuss different challenges. So I've just been noticing recently, because I asked my clients, "So where do you find me?" And I've noticed a lot of them have been on these different groups.
Yeah.
So one person, all it takes is one to mention you, right? And then everyone else kind of hears.
Depending on the tightness of that network,
Yeah,
right? If they
yeah,
really have a lot of trust factor built
yeah,
in already, then
yeah.
yeah, one drop can make bigger ripples. So yeah, that's what you want to find ideally.
Another thing that I think we touched on a little bit yesterday when we were talking about the phone call was, you know, really trying to reach out as well to interior designers, and even architects who are often dealing with families remodeling,
Mm-hmm.
and,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and
Yeah. So then,
synergy there between my work and their work.
for sure. So I'm connecting back to, I think, do the research and find the one place, but even just start with the ones that you know, like this twin group. Just, I mean, because you'll uncover more and more as
Yeah,
you go, right?
yeah,
So, and the further you, I mean, I'm glad you super know this ideal client because you're so relational, you'll keep listening for the next almost like deeper, like ideal place where
right.
the network is tight and the people are just in the same mindset that you want
Yeah,
them to be in.
and they're
Uh,
great. Even if
yeah,
they're hiring me for one thing at one point, most of them are going to go through a transition at some point where they may need me again,
yeah,
right?
right. Yeah, even if they don't pull the trigger right away, they've got you
Yeah,
planted in the
yeah.
back for
Or they
when
were,
they're ready.
and they're all of a sudden their parents are downsizing, and they're like, "Oh, you should work with Amanda because she can help you with this." So it just kind of, I feel like the families kind of have lots of tentacles.
Mm-hmm, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. The tightness. In fact, right. It's just exactly what we said earlier. The trust factor
Yeah.
in there is high. So then I think of how are you moving past clients or current clients to put testimonials in those places? Do you have a process already in place?
Yeah, you mean how do I get them to put the testimonials in place? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, again, that's more, it goes back to that self-advocating. When I'm done working with them, I just, let them know, hey, my business is built on referrals. And if you wouldn't mind leaving me a testimonial in a space that's comfortable for you, I would really, really appreciate that. And they always do it. So I think
They
that's,
do. That's great because that can be a challenge.
yeah, it
But
can be a challenge, but for the most part, they do it. And some people don't because they're busy, and that's fine. But in general, I found that they do it. So it's almost more of me remembering to ask them,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah,
right?
so along those lines, my advice would be to say, if there's one place you want them to build, um, send them to that one place and make it as easy as possible
Right,
for them because they have, just less friction, fewer decisions to make.
right. It's a good,
Uh, I think it's great to just build it into your workflow.
yeah,
Like when I close
yeah,
the engagement, and we know that
yeah,
there's going to be repeats, but like for this engagement, this is part of my operations.
right. And
Like,
I always give them the links to my exact pages for a Yelp or a Google included, so it's really easy.
good. Yes,
Right?
that's the type of thing I was talking about.
Just trying to make it as easy for them as possible. But beyond a Yelp and Google, I agree, like finding more exactly where those
Well, maybe just add that
into,
Berkeley Parents Network, add maybe the next door. I mean,
yeah,
those are all places that I
I
think
should
families are talking.
work. That's a really good idea. I could
Yeah.
include that link so easily.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you're not having to build this
Yeah,
piece of operations. You already have it. So
already have,
super smart. And yeah, just add it. And then they'll just, yeah, the filter for their own filter for that's where I have the strongest or I feel safe talking in this place, right? That's really,
yeah.
I think, part of the friction of picking, like taking action, basically.
Do you ask your
So
client testimonials?
I need to do that more. I think, yeah, I think I'm still in the building more those kinds of structures of website and email list and all those things.
Yeah.
And yeah, so,
I
and
just,
even my messaging is like
both of our business
still changing.
trust, right? And so that testimonial just shows people's trust.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, that's on the list of going on that front page of the
Yeah,
website. But
we have our list.
yes, you know what I did do just last week on along the lines of paying people to help me is um, hired someone to assist me and who is um, kind of like my second brain. And we've worked together before in my past business, so I'm super excited that she's gonna just help me fly.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah, yeah. So very soon we're gonna
Yeah,
get that
good,
into the workflow.
good, good.
So yeah, yeah. Hold me to it, in fact.
Yeah,
Ask me in a couple weeks what's happening with it,
yeah,
because that's what we do for each other,
yeah.
right? Hold each other to what we're wanting for ourselves.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I agree.
Thank you. I hope this was helpful for you, and I look forward to just seeing how more testimonials in the place that you want them will build exactly the right ideal clients coming in.
Oh, thank you so much. And along those lines, like if you talk to clients and they need help, send them to my website. They can sign up for my newsletter. They can talk to me. I offer complimentary virtual consultations, so there's no commitment. It's really nice because I get to learn about their needs and they get to learn about my services too. So
Yes, and you get to demonstrate that trust right
yeah,
off the bat.
way to kind of build rapport.
Yes, yes, that's great.
Yeah.
Just to close, is there anything particular that we, the community, can be helping send your way? What would you like?
Um, I mean, just I think again, thinking about me and looking for opportunities to talk about me. That's really the best way to kind of send business my way. And
Yeah.
just listening for what people are talking about in their lives, that feeling of overwhelm or just like not being on top of it, right? Or just there's so much stuff, right? All of those things are things that home organizers can help out with.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, Amanda.
Yeah.
It's a
Thank
great
you.
time talking with you.
Yeah, this has been fun. Hope you have a nice rest of your day.
You too. Bye, everyone.
Thanks.